Good afternoon, everyone. This is Clem with Quinny's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have a special guest on my channel. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Harold Phifer.
And tell us a little about yourself.
I'm a air traffic controller, and I've worked in the U.S. for 23 years as an air traffic controller. Retired, decided to go and do it internationally. Last place I worked was in Afghanistan. And that's where I got inspired to write this book, Surviving Chaos.
Okay. Now tell us, what is your genre and what attracted you to that genre?
Well, it's a memoir, this one is. And I'd always wanted to write about my past, about how, I guess you say, screwed up, my childhood and most of my life had been. And been putting it off, and I was involved in a suicide bombing attack in Afghanistan. So in the middle of it, thinking I'm gonna be taken out. In the middle of it, I'm sitting there thinking, man, I had always promised I'd write that book, and here I am about to be, waxed off, and I didn't get a chance to write that book. And I promised then and there, God, if you let me out of here, I'll write that book.
Oh, okay. Now, what is your writing process like?
I kind of gather bits and pieces, and eventually knowing I'm gonna go back and build on it. Like I may see something that inspired me, or hear a phrase or something that I think I can add to where I'm trying to go. And I do it little by little. Sometimes I write, who knows, a chapter or two. And sometimes I may write just, I don't know, maybe a couple lines. So it just depends when that urge hits.
Okay. Now, can you tell us about your book?
Yes, my book, Surviving Chaos. It's talked about all the chaotic stuff that happened in my life. And like I said, it was inspired, or the catalyst for the book was I'm in Afghanistan, caught into this suicide attack. And you know how they say your life flashed before your eyes before death? Well, my whole childhood, which I had hid from everybody that knew me, at least working and beyond, I never told them about it. I never talked about my mom being schizophrenic, never talked about the bullying, assaults, or any of that. So while I'm sitting there thinking, this is the end of my world, all of that just start flooding in. And so after I got out of there, I went to Thailand. I met this guy, white guy. He comes up to me at the beach and want to know why I'm there. He wanted to know about my life. So we started talking, and more we talked, we started almost like from 3.5, 4 years old, and came forward. And it's not all drama. There's a lot of comic relief, some of the best comedy, you'll read or hear. Because I want it to be different. I didn't want it to be just sorrow or, all sadness. And I wanted to see some of the funny things I experienced. So it's a mixture of both. People have read it, said they laugh and they've cried.
Now, can you read an excerpt from your book?
Okay, here we go. This story called Tale of Fourth Grade Nothing. Until I had schoolwork on my own, I did Jerry's homework for him on a daily basis. He was 3 grades ahead of me, but school was never his thing. He really started to tank in the 4th grade. He was never around to actually go to school because he went everywhere with Aunt Kathy. She made all the rounds that were noteworthy to her while taking Jerry to the supermarket, the county fair, the mall, and church conferences. They were all over Columbus. All the moment Jerry spent with Aunt Kathy short-circuited any hopes that Jerry ever open a book or complete his homework. Jerry saw these outings as his playtime, where Aunt Kathy used him as her personal expo. Everyone all over Columbus got to know Jerry very well. Aunt Kathy made sure of that. Aunt Kathy used Jerry's good looks as a way to win over her peers, church members, and co-workers. Subsequently, Jerry failed the 4th grade. Some kids struggled in school, but failing a grade was not common. For Jerry, school was just a roll of the dice. When word got out, Carl and I were stunned by the news. At the time, I didn't think failing a grade in elementary was even possible. People started talking around town, so Aunt Kathy came over and poured out on Mom. She blamed Mom for Jerry's collapse, for not teaching him better, for not helping him with his homework. She blamed Mom for not being good at everything. If anyone wants to blame, it was Aunt Kathy herself. She was too busy parading Jerry around like a show pony. He was living with Aunt Kathy almost entirely, so he wasn't around for me to even help if he decided to crack open a book. Carl was about 3 years old at the time, so he started to cry from all of Aunt Kathy yelling and cussing. I had to remove my little brother from the scene because Aunt Kathy just wouldn't let up. As Aunt Kathy tongue lashing, Mom got Jerry, Carl, and me together for a school visit. The four of us headed to Mitch Memorial Elementary to see Jerry's teacher, Mrs. Lewis. I knew a storm was brewing. It was late on a Friday afternoon, and luckily classes were over for the day. Mom walked into Miss Lewis' classroom completely unannounced. The teacher took one look at our motley crew and asked, "How can I help you, ma'am?" Mom went straight for it. She said, "Ha, I'll tell you how the hell you can help me. You can let those dog devils go and put Jerry in the right grade." Calmly, Miss Lewis said, "Oh, you must be Jerry's mother." Mom fired back, "Yeah, I'm his mama. Why in the hell are you holding him back?" Miss Lewis responded, "No, ma'am, I'm not holding him back. Jerry failed because he didn't do the work that's required of a fourth grader. If he can't do the work here, then sending him to the next level is a disservice to him, the students, and the teachers of the fifth grade." Mom unleashed the beast. "I don't care about your service. Put my boy where he belongs so those dogs, devils, ghosts, and Hank will leave him alone. The dogs are knocking at you. Just listen, listen." Miss Lewis had the most bewildered look on her face. I looked at Carl and he smirked back at me. We knew Mom was taking Miss Lewis someplace she didn't know how to handle. Mom went to the chalkboard and started to bang on it profusely while saying, "Those dogs are barking at you, baby. They got you and my boy." Fortunately, the principal walked by as this scene was unfolding. He stepped into the room and asked, "What is going on in here?" I reached out to shield Carl from that crazy man. The principal had put the fear of God in me so often, I instinctively feared for my little brother as well. Mom explained, "Dogs, devil, and Hank got this teacher. She is holding my Jerry back." It was the principal's turn to give Mom a bewildered look. She put down her can of soda and asked for a minute while he talked to Miss Lewis. The teacher pulled out a stack of papers. They were Jerry's test and homework assignment. Miss Lewis said, "Ma'am, here's the proof that Jerry isn't up to a fourth grade level. He has an F on several of these assignments. In fact, a 0 is too high a grade for some of Jerry's work this past year." That's when Mom went nuclear. She said, "I got your 0 and your ass right here," as she balled up her fist. The principal tried to temper things down. He said, ma'am, we're sorry, but this is where Jerry is right now. As a matter of fact, we're not sure how Jerry even got this far." I never knew Mom. I thought of Mom as being funny, but she responded with, "Jerry got here by getting up, getting on the bus, and walking into this damn classroom." The principal and Miss Lewis just stared at each other in silence. Then Mom picked up the principal's soda can and gulped down what was left of it. To me, that was a big warning. Quickly, I moved Carl to an even safer area. I was envisioning wildfire, tornado, flash flood, and a tsunami coming next. But Mom surprised us all. She calmly asked, "Why can't Jerry go to summer school to make up for his lack of achievement?" The principal and Miss Lewis said in unison, "Jerry was too far behind for summer classes. He would have to repeat the year," and Miss Lewis didn't seem too happy about that. Once again, to my disbelief, Mom stood up and bolted out of the room. Jerry followed her with the same haste. He never said one word the entire time. Carl and I were left alone. I grabbed my little brother and backpedaled out of the room. I didn't want to stick around to find out if the principal had any residual punishment for me. Jerry's fate was sealed. School became a place he went to socialize and stir up trouble. He would eventually fizzle out in middle school, but for that moment in time, he was a true tale of a fourth grade nothing. And that's for the story. Tale
Oh,
of a fourth grade nothing.
okay. What are you working on right now?
Oh, I just left Afghanistan, and I think I'm gonna write about what just happened, about the collapse of Kabul, and all the refugees that are trying to get out of Afghanistan, and what it's like being a contractor. Um, I do have a fiction book out called Fool Me Thrice, Money Changes Everything, under the pseudonym Dean Coney. And
Okay,
okay.
okay. Where can your readers find you and your books?
Amazon.com. Found all my books on Amazon.com. I have one that preceded Surviving Chaos called Sleepwalking Out of Afghanistan, but Surviving Chaos is a much better book. But also my website is rnrfreepress.com.
Okay. What do you think your role is in the literary career, in your literary career?
Well, wow. I like to shed light on things that I kind of picked up or experienced and bring a sense of entertainment as I do it.
And what has been your greatest accomplishment thus far?
I would say Surviving Chaos, but Fool Me Thrice, which is fiction, like I say, I like it, and I plan to do a follow-up to that one. I like the fiction. I like to, making stuff up and even laughing at myself while doing it.
Oh, okay. And what are your social media handles so readers can follow you?
Facebook, R&R Free Press, or you can go to Harold Phifer on Facebook. You can go at R&R Free Press on Twitter. I am on Instagram, also R&R Free Press.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
A lot of the stuff like you heard in that story that was weird is my mom had schizophrenia. So she was always seeing ghosts, devils, and Hank, stuff like that. So I had overcome her schizophrenia to get, to where I am. And so the book is about overcoming and even dealing with someone who has a condition. So I had to even work around that. And I would say, and I did a lot of losing, and the book talk about a lot of losing that happened, especially socially during your teen years. But losing not always a bad thing. That's kind of what I want to leave you with. That sometimes it pushes you into a better direction, or it makes you a better you. And that's what you'll see in that book. Like, we guys call it taking an L as a loss. So I took a lot of L's, but eventually I kind of got it right.
Okay, so those characters are real characters? You just changed the name, or?
Right, and it's Surviving Chaos. Those characters are real. I just changed the name, but they are some wild characters. Yeah.
I see. Before we go, I would like to play a little game with you. Would you like to play a little game?
Sure.
Okay, what's your favorite color?
Red.
What's your favorite snack to eat while writing?
Wow. I would say maybe banana, bananas. Yeah.
Okay, what do you do besides writing?
I love movies, and I specifically love comedy movies.
Okay. And one more question. Do you have family support, or have any of your family read your books?
I think they all have. And, since I changed the name on a couple, some who were closely called out kind of haven't said much, let's put it like that. And the ones that is not connected, they liked it. They all liked it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Okay, Miss Queenie. Thank you too.
All right. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
Right.